Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is your girl, Dia Vavazanka, also known as Ooh Girl, you still losing weight? Anyways, I wanted to show you guys this wonderful shirt that I got, Melanin Angel. So, funny enough, I striked 2 weeks ago. This last week, we came back from strike and all was well. No issues, no problems. However, what did happen this week was I realized stress is still stress. I was feeling kind of stressed. But the video you're about to watch is actually a really good video. I had a lot of fun filming it and I enjoyed it. The strike was crazy. Coming back to work was crazy. Everything about what happened this past 2 weeks was crazy. And so I wanted to give you guys a little bit of perspective on where my inner sanctum was. And so now I'm filming. I have this weird shade thing on my face. It's the blinds because I'm too lazy to do anything with the blinds. I hope you enjoyed this video. I had a lot of fun filming it because a lot of it was just here's where I'm at in life and here's where I'd like to go. And also, I have some really cool B-roll. So a lot of me talking, you'll just see a B-roll of me hiking because I need to use this B-roll and I'm using it in this video because I talk a lot. So it'll be cool to watch me. Okay. Bye-bye. See ya.
Hey friends. So I have been striking this week. It's been really intense. This is day 3 of the strike. And I wanted to give you guys a little 5-minute update. So first update of the strike is that we can't wait. This strike is for everyone. So the teachers union is striking in San Francisco. We have pretty simple demands. They're all listed on the uesf.org website. And essentially, teacher strikes are always contentious because they typically involve schools shutting down stuff. One of the funniest things I think about that's coming out about the strike is that parents do rely on schools for their kids to go to a safe place. Yet it's interesting because when the safe place is no longer providing a service that is helpful for the individuals that are providing that service, all of a sudden it's, well, why don't the teachers just get a better job? Or why don't they just not do this? Or why don't they just not do that? Instead of having empathy and saying, well, if I have my student who needs to be in a safe place with an educated professional, I want that professional to be content and not stressed out of their minds trying to pay $1,500 for health insurance every month. The strike has been this is the most I've ever struck in my life. My last district, I think we did 1 day of strikes and I didn't even go because I lived in Santa Rosa at the time, but I was working in Sausalito, so it was a whole thing. But this is not the first strike I've been a part of. This is my second strike that I've been a part of. And that one didn't last very long. It was like 2 days and they're like, oh, we got you guys, we can do this. This strike it's basically a week now. We started on Monday and it's now Thursday. Or no, sorry, we started on Monday. It is now Wednesday. And tomorrow will be Thursday. So tomorrow will be day 4, which is crazy. I didn't think it would go more than 2 days because that's how long the last one took. But I guess when you're negotiating for a larger district, you can really push it. The city isn't using, I feel like the mayor could use his soft influence to say, district, you should potentially look into city plans that are more effective. And as a city, we could look into what are the ways that we can get teachers to have better health coverage. Because right now the issue is that the health coverage is a fourth of everyone's pay. I pay a $377 premium because I just checked on my pay stub. But I also don't have Kaiser, which is the state insurance in California. That's pretty much covered by every government. Like if you work for an organization, Kaiser does pretty good group deals. And so Kaiser is usually at 0 cost. But it's also not the greatest healthcare system. And I find it to be a little complicated to navigate. I've been with Sutter Health since I was a kid. And I like their system. I find it easy to use. And I've always had Blue Shield, Anthem Health, whatever, because my parents worked for hospitals growing up. So there was never I was always like double insured. I never did not have insurance because I had lived a very insured lifestyle. And so that's just what it is. So today's been an interesting day. So I really wanted to update you guys on like what I've been eating during the strike. So you guys know I've all been about this eat half, eat half. It is day 3. So today in the morning, I had a New Orleans chicory coffee. I only added 1 Splenda packet in there and I drank half of the coffee. I'll drink the other half tomorrow morning. I then drank water. I had half of a a donut. Remember, I'm only allowed to have half. I ate a full bagel with cream cheese because I was hungry as hell and I didn't have much. I ate half of a sushi platter that had imitation crab, avo, cucumbers, lettuce, and it wasn't like a sushi roll with the rice. It was just like a spring roll. It was almost like a spring roll rather than a sushi roll because the outside was like the rice paper, not the rice, which I actually liked because I felt like it was healthier. So I'm gonna eat the other half for breakfast tomorrow. For lunch, that was actually pretty much all I ate. And I was gonna eat something when I came home, but I didn't because I was like, well, I'm gonna eat a lot for dinner, so I don't actually need to eat lunch. I ate a lot in the morning. I think I'm good. So I drank water, drank tea. I have my hydration water here. So I feel like all in all, my specific week so far has been me eating half. And I have found myself not needing to eat food, learning to be comfortable in hunger. You guys, I'm gonna tell you this. I hurt my ankle last week, so I haven't really been going to the gym heavy at all. I had a 90-day plan starting in January to lose 5 pounds because I told you guys I was starting at 220. I'm already at 215. I already hit my goal in less than a month and a half. The only thing that I have been doing consistently is eating half. That is it. That is the only thing I've changed for my diet. I haven't really changed what I've been eating. I've been eating out a lot less. I will say that. I haven't been eating out as much, but even when I do, I eat half. I went to Burger King. I had ice cream last week. I had so much, but I only ate half of everything that I bought. Everything that I cooked, I ate half. The only reason I ate all my dinner tonight was because I put it on a small plate. And I said, well, I'm allowed to eat this because I didn't have food earlier. I did skip lunch. And I was like, dinner is what I'm going to eat. And then I'll be full. I'll be good. And it's true. I was good. I also ate half of my Bosque cheesecake. Again, half. All I'm doing is cutting down the portion of what I'm eating. And it's crazy because before I started doing this eat half situation, I would meticulously count my calories. It was insane. I will post pictures of my freaking calorie counts that I used to do. It was so mind-boggling. And I am 32. I'm turning 32 this year. I'm 31 years old. And one of the biggest things I found was like, I tend to be someone who wants to be healthy. I've always been an athlete. I've always been an active girly. I know that when I get into workouts, I get obsessive about it. So I knew I didn't want to make fitness the crux of how I was losing weight. I needed to know that I could lose weight without having fitness be the crux of how I lose weight. And I know that sounds crazy, but they always say that abs are made in the kitchen. And I know that for a fact, and I do want abs one day, but I need to know that I can trust myself instinctively to not eat enough to lose weight. And I did that shit. And the fact that I've already hit my goal tells me one thing. This half thing is serious, it works, and it's shifted my diet already. So I actually don't care if I don't lose any weight from now until March. I'd love to lose more weight, and the goal is to definitely lose more weight. However, what I'd love to do is maintain. So I know that 5 pounds are gone. I'm already 5 pounds down in less than, it's probably been about 45 days because we're almost halfway through February now. So in about 45 days, I am 5 pounds down from where I was at the beginning of the year. What that tells me is that if I continue doing this half thing faithfully, I will more than likely maintain this weight loss. And if I continue losing weight, then that means the half portion size is a deficit. Essentially, I'm in a deficit already because I've been losing weight. So eating half of my portion is a deficit. I'm going to continue this deficit until the end of March. At that point, I'm going to see, did I maintain or did I lose more? Because then if I know that I'm losing more, then I might do a week where I just eat a little bit more to just level my weight and stay there. And then I could go into another deficit. So I can spend a month basically just staying at a certain weight. And if I know that how much I'm eating is gonna keep me at that weight, then I know that if I cut again, half again, I will go back into a deficit. And so now I'm doing like this, what I would call intuitive dieting, because I'm not changing anything outside of what I eat. I will say the one biggest shift I've noticed is I've been trying to incorporate more vegetables. So Brussels sprouts, asparagus, mushrooms. I've been incorporating more vegetables. I've been eating potatoes because potatoes are really filling and I really like them, I've realized. So I'm eating more potatoes. I've cut back on rice, But again, I can have rice and things. I just eat half the amount that I would normally do. If I plate myself food and it's on a normal size plate, I just eat half of it. If I use a small plate, I'm intentional about what I put on that small plate. All I'm doing is shifting my paradigm. I had a paradigm shift, and I'll explain what my paradigm shift was. The paradigm shift was, I know in the past that I have obsessed over losing weight, and it's become a full-time, even part-time job. I know that the body that I'm in is bigger than I want it to be. I know that the body that I'm aiming for is going to require me to have a smaller amount of food that I eat pretty much for the rest of my life. So what does that look like if I want to maintain that lifestyle? I have to eat less. I have to be okay with giving up food. I have to be okay with being hungry sometimes. I have to be okay with busying myself enough that I don't need to consider food the only thing that can occupy my time. I occupy my time with other things. So that has been way. The only other time I found myself doing that was when I was in the Peace Corps, and I just was like, I'm just gonna not. And that was the only other time. But that time I was in the village, so I wasn't eating chocolate, chips, ice cream, none of that shit. And if I was very infrequently, because I just didn't have access to it as frequently as I wanted to. So there was like real lack there. But here I'm in the city. I have access to everything. I have DoorDash. I have Uber Eats. I can get whatever I want whenever I want. But there's an active shift in my mindset where it's like, all right, if you eat a lot, you can just stop right there. Yesterday I had those protein popcorn chips. I ate like pretty much the whole fucking bag. But then I was like, oh, well, then don't eat anything else. I'm starting to realize that there are certain things that I can eat and I can stop myself. And then there's other things that I know if I buy that, I'm gonna eat all that. So there's a piece of this too that's me really being intentional about. Whenever I get that urge in my brain to say, oh, Dia, you should buy this. Oh, Dia, you should buy that. I actually do a lap in the store. And Dia, like, if you buy this bag or if you buy this candy, what is it really gonna do? Right now I have a bag of peanut M&Ms in my friggin' fridge. But because I'm so intentional about, you can have this, you just can't have the whole portion. It's completely shifted the way that I see food and snacks and everything. I don't need M&Ms. If I'm eating a bunch of M&Ms, I'm hungry. So go eat real food so you don't eat the M&Ms. I eat real food. I won't eat the M&Ms. I won't eat the bag of chips because I'm monitoring my food. But if I'm eating food that doesn't really fill me up, then it's not gonna work. And I'm not eating that shit every day, but it's like when I eat it and that's it. And that's where I stop and we're done. So I really have been taking my own advice because this is the advice I gave my younger sister, and I think she actually took it to heart. And now I'm giving myself my own advice of, all right, stay eating everything you eat, just cut it in half. And I promise you guys, it's working so well. So we're gonna continue this for the rest of the week. Half every day I wake up and, all right, Deal, what are you eating half of today? And another piece of this too is I did message my doctor and I told her, I was like, I want to go on to, what do they call them? Peptides. But because what I'm doing is working, I don't think I need to start peptides yet. If I decide to do peptides, there's going to be a level of, I'm gonna be hella full. When you go on these drugs, you don't eat more. That's how you lose the weight. So I need to already be in the mindset of, I don't need to eat a lot, but I can eat a small amount and enjoy that small amount and move on with my life. That is how I am feeling. And this strike has really been an eye-opener for me as to my lifestyle and all these other things. Being a teacher is an interesting career choice for sure, but losing weight as a teacher and also losing weight as a 30-year-old woman whose body has changed so much from where I was in my 20s has also been a huge revelation to me, because I can't just do what I used to do, which was like starve myself and work out every day for 10 days. There's a dietary component here that's so serious for me. And I'm telling you guys, if you want to lose weight, you don't need to do all these crazy diets. You don't need to work out. I literally haven't even been working out. I just walk and I do little workout videos for like 10-15 minutes a day. I don't really even be working out all like that. Like, I can't even tell you the last time I went to the gym. Probably like 3 weeks ago before I hurt my ankle. All I have been doing is being active, going on walks, hikes, enjoying time with my friends. But truly, it has mostly been my diet. That is the only thing I can tell you for a fact that has shifted dramatically, is I eat whatever the hell you want, but eat half of it. Look at it, cut the other half off, and don't eat the other half until tomorrow. If you can do that, it shifts your brain. You eat a bag of hot Cheetos, you buy a bag of hot Cheetos, it's like your little treat to yourself. Literally, pour the whole bag out, cut that shit in half. Or just eat it till it gets to the point where this is half, and then put the rest away, eat it the rest tomorrow. That changes your brain chemistry, and that was something I was not willing to do about a year ago. I remember a year ago, I would look at my snacks and be like, I'm eating 8 snacks a day, I'll eat 5. 5 snacks a day, I'll eat 3. But that didn't work, because even lowering the number, all of a sudden the number became the most important piece of what I could eat and couldn't eat. And so I realized maybe it's because I have math anxiety, but the numbers actually freak me out when it comes to food. When it comes to weight, it is what it is. Numbers are numbers. But like when it comes to food, I knew that my macros were like 30, let's say it was 120 calorie or, all right, so let's pretend these are my macros. 120 grams of protein, 80 grams of carbs, and 50 grams of fat. That's what I'm trying to aim for. Those are my macros, and then fiber and whatever else, right? Micronutrients. If I knew those were my numbers, I would eat anything to hit those numbers, and I didn't care about anything other of the composition of my food. Everything was about the numbers. If I knew that I was tracking the amount of foods that I was eating a day, I'd be like, oh, well, on Monday, I eat 7 bags of chips. So on Tuesday, if I eat 5, that's me losing weight. No, that's not how it works. Because then what if on Wednesday I go back to eating 7? Now it's like I've doubled the amount of food I'm eating. And that's what I didn't really grasp at first, was that it's not really about the number. It's about the size. So if I eat an entire bag of Doritos every Friday, if I start eating half that bag of Doritos, I'm actively in a deficit because I'm no longer eating the entire bag. But I have to be consistently eating only half of the bag. And what I have, in a weird revolutionary way, done is looked at every single meal, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and said, eat the sushi roll, but you can't have the other half right now. Have the bagel, but you only get the bottom. Have the coffee, but me don't finish all of it. Eat the baked potatoes with all the fixins, but use mini potatoes and put it on a small plate so it's a smaller portion. It's completely changed the way that I even view food. I'm kind of pretending right now that I'm like on a drug. I'm pretending what would it be like to be on Ozempic. It sounds crazy, but it's like, if I was on Ozempic, I wouldn't be able to eat all of this. If I was on Ozempic, I would drink water and I'd be full. If I was on Ozempic, I'd take 2 bites of ice cream and be like, I'm full. That's truly my process right now, is like, the version of me that I want would not be able to eat all of that food. The version of me that I want is actually really okay with the amount of food that she just ate. The version of me that I want can easily save candy for the next day. It can last months in her house. And those visions of myself, I didn't see until I came to a place where I didn't want to be that big anymore. I was like, that number is too high for me. I don't like that weight. Let's bring it down. What does that look like? And it's crazy because up until 2 weeks ago or whatever, I didn't really start doing the half thing until probably the end of January, because I was so sick all month of January. So I was already naturally just eating less food. I was like just drinking soup and eating all this stuff. And what I found was, by doing that, I actually just, by being sick for like 2-3 weeks in January, I was just eating soup, eating bread. And what I found was that like, appetite didn't really come back until recently, and I wanted meat and all that kind of stuff. But it's just crazy to me because being sick for that long actually made me realize that I don't have to eat that much and I can still be satiated. And so that was a blessing in disguise, because now it's like I'm back to eating my regular foods, but it's like I don't want to just eat soup all the time. I do want to eat food, but I don't really need that much. That's been the biggest realization for me. And it's like, if I decide I want to go on Ozempic, because I'm like, let's say I can lose weight up until like, usually where I tend to plateau out is like 180. Let's say I can lose weight all the way up to 180, which is essentially my goal. I want to get all the way up to 180, and then from there, I want to try something different, maybe add more fitness. And then if it's still not working, then I'm thinking of taking peptides. So let's say I get to 180 by the end of this year or by the beginning of next year. So if I'm ready to start peptides, there is going to be a physiological difference in the way that I react to the medication. And it's going to prompt me to no longer want to eat large portions of food, because that's what the medication does, is it suppresses your appetite. If I'm so used to eating large portions of food, going on that medication might help me, but it's not going to help me if I'm off the medication. So I'm pretending I'm on it right now, but I'm not pretending, because I'm like, well, this is just the life that I want to live, right? Because it's like, I want to be someone who can eat this amount of food and feel good about it, because otherwise I will have resentment, and resentment leads to weight gain. That is the combination I have found is true for me. If I have resentment against what I can and cannot eat, I will gain weight. But if I recognize that like, this is what I need, if I have a level of acceptance over the amount, then weight loss is very easy. And for some reason, I couldn't let go of the resentment. I don't know why. Maybe as I go through more through this journey, and as I lose weight and as I start to stabilize, I'll start to understand where that resentment came from. But for a real long time, I had resentment towards the fact that I couldn't eat what I wanted, and I was gaining weight like crazy. My body is proof of what the weight that I gained, but like I had such amazing resentment. It was so deep. And just recently, within the last couple months, I was able to let it go. And I think it's because I gained so much weight, but the resentment no longer served a purpose for me. And because of that, I have a level of acceptance that's allowing me to easily lose weight. And I don't know what it is. I'm still on that discovery space, but we'll see how this goes when I go back to work. But for now, being on strike, this is the level of acceptance I'm at. This is the level of weight loss that I've been incurring. I'm so happy that I met my goal before the 90 days, but now it's like, maintain it. You lost it, now maintain it. And that's exactly what I plan to do, because the resentment, I don't have resentment anymore. And I can't tell you how I got rid of it, which kind of pisses me off, because I'm like, man, what did I do? I got to dig deep a little bit for that. I got to dig a little bit deeper on what allowed me to let go of that resentment. But I can tell you that emotion of resentment is 100% what was keeping me from losing weight. And I just don't have it anymore. I think I've actively worked on my mindset for a long time. My entire 20s, I went over like binge eating. I came to terms with the fact that I have binge eating habits and all this kind of stuff. But just recently, that emotion of resentment just felt so unnecessary towards food. And I think a piece of it was me being uncomfortable with it's okay to be hungry. That phrase, it's okay to be hungry, is something I think every day when I'm hungry. Oh my God, Dia, you're hungry. That's okay. You're safe. It's good that you're hungry. Your body's telling you something. I'm really just sharing my thoughts with you. Guys, I'll talk to you later. We can't wait.
The video you guys just watched is really fun. This is at the end of the video. Hopefully you stayed to watch this all. Please like, subscribe, and share my stuff. I have an Instagram that will be posted in the link below. And I will also timestamp some really important pieces that I believed to be the best and awesomest part of my video. Okay, love you guys all. Bye.